After being diagnosed many years ago, 7 years after that, I suffered a relapse. And when I ended up locked up in the hospital, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know enough about my own disorder. I had messed up my medicines. I double took one. And so I thought the next day, well, I just won't take it. And by the time I did that, I had 2 to 3 weeks I couldn't remember. And I ended up in the hospital. And I realized there's got to be a better way to do this. I need information. I need people that are going through this that I can learn from. So I got out and I tried a whole bunch of groups. And I tried them for quite a while. And I got to tell you, all I found were people that were on disability, people that were talking about their medicines and their doctors. And I thought, oh my God, I want to live. I don't want to sit down and just yield myself to this. And so what happened was I just decided I'm going to have a great life in spite of this. Because the first 7 years I was almost like a medicated zombie. I would take my kids to school and drive past the school. I didn't even know what I was doing most of the time. And so I decided, by God's grace and His will in my life, I'm gonna do this. And in the process, God was very good. I started discovering things. Things were working. Life was becoming better. And my doctor said, well, I complained to him all the time about no Christian support groups for this. Nothing out there. No materials, nothing. This was 7 years ago. And the doctor looked at me finally one day. I think he was so tired of hearing me talk and complain. He said, then write it, Brad. Start the group. And that's what we did, and that's how Fresh Hope was born. Fresh Hope is really a ministry to empower from peer to peer, along with the family members. We do it together. It's to empower people to live a rich and full life in spite of having a mental health challenge. And that's so important, that in spite of, because I can tell you, it's now 10 to 12 years later, my life's never been more filled with joy and purpose and fulfillment and contentment ever before. My life's never been better than it is today. And I've lived really the last 10 to 11 years symptom-free of bipolar disorder. And Fresh Hope is a blueprint of what has been my journey to get to this point. And I started a group. And we absolutely didn't plan to have multiple groups or anything else. I thought people would come the first week and nobody'd come back. And what happened is there's such a need out there. People were Googling for materials just like I was. And suddenly we started getting a plethora of contacts from not only all over the United States, but all over the world. And because of that, we said, yes, we'll help you start a Fresh Hope group at your church, in your place. And now we've got multiple groups in multiple states and other countries contacting us. And so to speak, we are building the plane while we're flying it. But the reality is, people are desperate for hope. And they want a sure and certain hope. And I believe that Fresh Hope is an opportunity for the Christian church to reach out to hurting people who are longing for something and to come in and to receive healing and receive real hope through Christ. When we started our first Fresh Hope group at our small little church, what blew me away was, after 29 years of being a pastor and thousands of people that I've counseled through the years and helped, and I don't know how many sermons and offerings, I have never seen lives change so drastically and so easily as they have in Fresh Hope. For me, I believe that this is the opportunity for the Christian church to do something and meet a need that's not been met. What happened in our church? After 8 months of doing Fresh Hope, and you know, I'd always heard, meet a need and people will come. Well, after 8 months of doing that, we ended up with our worship attendance increasing by 110%. Because people are looking, they're hurting, and they need a place. We'd be happy to help you start a Fresh Hope group in your church today.